Hi, this is Bert Burger, and right now I'm going to be taking you through some of the features of our longboard Hangman model. So originally when I first designed this board, I actually made it for myself. And one of the biggest reasons was I started surfing in the 70s, and even though I had the option to ride a longboard as a kid, and I did along the way, essentially I was a shortboarder. So then in the early 90s, when I started really getting into riding longboards more and I wanted to ride a longboard more traditionally, I found that I was just a shortboarder on a longboard. As opposed to guys who actually learnt on a longboard in the 60s, I would see those guys get on shortboards and later on get on longboards, and they just had this really natural flow. They could walk the board well, they could nose ride. And so I thought I need something for myself that helps me become a longboarder. Something that helps me walk the board, something that helps me nose ride better. And so that's where this design evolved from. So one of the features of the board is the outline. One is it has a lot of area up the front, you can see with this square nose here. And secondly, through the front end, it's very parallel or very straight. So what happens there is, as you step forward and get onto the nose, this straighter section of outline locks into the face and really holds a clean line. Then on top of that, combined with this nose area, it has that extra area to plane and sit on top of the water. So the nose will really hold your weight, especially mine. There's still a performance aspect built into this board, because ultimately I was looking at this board for competitive longboarding, where you want to still be able to do some tight turns off the tail. So in the tail we've got this pronounced hip, comes in relatively narrow, it's quite fine and tight. So when you get on the tail end, you can still square off your bottom turns and you can still rip those tight turns in tight parts of the wave. But then when you step up the front, it'll carry and hold that good line. On the rocker, we've got what we call our performance longboard rocker. So it's a relatively clean, even curve all the way through. Now one of the things, another interesting aspect of this design is that the nose is really thin. So it's actually designed so that when you step up on the nose, it'll flatten out a little bit and helps it to carry better while you're up the front. So to get a longboard to nose ride, in one way or another, you actually want to be able to slow the board down so that the board hangs back with the curl. So you've got two ways of slowing the board down. One is you can run some more tail rocker, softer rails like what you see on logs, and in the case of this one, in the front 12 inches we have a little bit of extra nose rocker, almost a little bit of flip. So what happens is, as you step up to the nose and you stand on it, that extra rocker starts to push water and slow down, and as you slow down, the board starts to hang back with the curl more, sits right in the pocket, and then, and this is essential for any longboard if you want to nose ride, you need to have the wave spilling up over the deck and holding the tail down. And then with the wave and the lip breaking over the tail of the board, that enables the rider to then hang and perch up on the nose. So that's what really makes this board work well, is the fact that we can slow it down to nose ride off the front end, which means when we step onto the back end and we use this pulled in tail, this sort of typical performance back end, we can still really get a lot of surfability off the tail, which is what you won't get with a log. This particular one is set up as a thruster. So the thruster is a lot looser, a lot better top to bottom, a little bit more temperamental to walk. As you walk a board and you start to step forward, it's quite common that the board gets a little bit teetery, or as you take your steps it sort of wobbles a bit from side to side. So we also have this model in a T3, which is a little bit thicker, and it's a 2+1. And so when you run the larger center fin, what happens is the fin sits a lot deeper in the water, and so as the board wobbles, the fin literally needs to go through the water like that, so there's more resistance on the tip of the fin, and that makes the board a lot more stable to walk on, and also helps it hold a cleaner line, gives it more direction. So we also do this board in a 9.6 version, and that's also set up as a 2+1. So If you go for the thruster version, you're going to lose a little bit of that stability, but you've really got a nice package of high performance and nose riding. And if you really want to focus on the nose riding, for sure, go for either the 9.2 T3 or the 9.6, both as a 2+1. So in general, if I had to summarize this board, it's a good high performance longboard that will still nose ride, and it's kind of like there's a whole lot. It's like one package, does a little bit of everything.